Just do a harmony.
Oh, we need a third part. We need more harmonies. It sounds like it needs to go on.
It was just a 2-part, whatever. Anyways, okay. This is happening.
Yes.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Audio Nerds podcast. I'm here today once again with one of my best friends, Fable/Nick, Rap God, and I am Alex /Divide Music, listener of said Rap God. And I think we wanted to talk about something that is kind of fresh and something that a lot of people in the community that do what we do can relate to. And I know I'm going to pass over to Nick here in a second, but this week Nick had dealt with something, and it's something that I've dealt with tons of times. And it's one of the biggest struggles when it comes to writing music every single week. And I won't waste any time because I don't know how long this will go on for, because I know we have a lot to say about this. So I'll just throw it to you. What happened? What starting on, I think, what was it, Wednesday? What happened?
Yeah, so I guess like where all of this started for me with this particular instance, and I'll get to the meat and potatoes of all this that I know that we both struggle with. But what this is essentially started with was my move, because like I just got in the studio and I really wanted to make a song that I was proud of. I was like, I was overthinking it to begin with. I was like, I got in here and I had these like, ideas of what I wanted to do and all this stuff. It all started to change because I was struggling with picking a topic for what I actually wanted to make the song on. Eventually, I landed on the idea of doing a Valorant song because it just released and I love the game, and I've loved Riot Games for like a lot of years. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a Valorant song. Then the spiral begins. I start making a bunch of different instrumentals. None of them are clicking. They're just not the ones. They're not working right. I'm not feeling it, and I'm struggling overall to find a vibe. The best way I could explain it. I'm struggling so hard, and I start second guessing myself. I start going down this tunnel of, will I ever be able to make a good song again? And mentally, you just start. All these things start to happen mentally, and it's this like really dangerous concoction, because then I, as you know better than anybody who knows me, I'm struggling within the last 48, 24 hours of the release to get something made and finished and done. And I would say just struggling with the creative process is one of the most difficult things that I know I deal with, and I know that you deal with, and I know a lot of people that I know who do what we do deal with is getting something right and doing it. It just takes me so many tries sometimes. I really do fail a lot, and I don't think anybody sees that or knows that. And it's like I'm trying to roll a snowball up a mountain, and it's just constantly falling back on me. And but then on my YouTube channel, my Spotify, and my Twitter, I mostly just put all the good stuff, and once it's finished and all this stuff. So there's just this huge struggle of a creative process it's a mess of a creative process going on behind the scenes. And this week was especially bad because I just couldn't. I think mostly what happened was Valorant is a shooter. It's a competitive shooter. It's mainstream. And so I'm thinking, okay, I need to make something that's kind of modern, has like a hip hop trap feel to it, similar to what I make for my Fortnite stuff, but I didn't want to make it exactly like my Fortnite stuff. I ended up making something very similar, which I'm still a little bit unhappy with. I like the song. I'm happy with the way the song came out in the mix, but I'm generally, I think moving forward, if I make more Valorant songs, I'm probably going to try to make a little bit more of a separate vibe. It ended up coming out a little similar, but the creative process was the process to make the song was really hard, and that is very common for me, and I know it's common for you too, and sometimes it's worse than other times, but I just last week was dealing with this, so I know you can relate.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, and I think you were thrown into a situation that was so hard to deal with, because I know you're trying to do bi-weekly uploads right now, and with you just moving and with trying to get your studio set up and not having released a song the week before, obviously, because you're doing bi-weekly, and trying to release a song that week, and you're starting on a Wednesday, and you're trying to get a vibe. It's tough. Like, but you still did it.
Thank you.
Which is something I don't think a lot of people can do. Make a song that quickly, but you freaking nailed it. And and I know for me, I don't tend to have the issue of my issue is I guess pretty different, where I won't write anything if I don't have an idea.
Yeah.
Like, I don't write an instrumental and then scrap it. I've never really done that before. I always will know what I want to do, but I will have moments where I am so blank, I can't think of anything. Like, I'm done. Like, I recognize that so well now. Like, I used to struggle with that a lot, and I wouldn't know what to do, and I would just make a song, and I wouldn't be happy with it, and it would really bum me out. But in the last like 6 to 8 months, if I ever get like that, I stop what I'm doing and I just go chill out, because you just can't force it. But yeah, the creative process is different for everyone. I mean, I can't speak for Daddy Fat Snaps, but I know a few weeks ago he had Caliber write something.
Yeah.
I never talked to him personally, but I could imagine it's because he's doing what we're doing. He's writing every week, and sometimes you just hit a wall, and it's so hard when you're given a topic. In this instance, obviously it being anime, you're given an anime or Valorant, and you're trying to capture an energy. You're trying to write specifically for that thing, and you're doing it every week. And it's definitely not a pity party, because this is like the path we chose. But it's just a struggle that not many people realize. And I think what inspired us doing this podcast was that you were struggling. I mean, pretty bad when it came to like that Friday.
Oh yeah.
Not to like put you on blast, but I know that you were like really like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't seem, and then you did it.
It was insane. Well, for the listeners that don't know, I literally made the Valorant song that I put up on Saturday on Friday. I woke up on Friday because Thursday and Wednesday and Thursday, the 2 days prior, I made 4 to 5 different instrumentals that I wasn't totally sold on. And I think that the reason why it was so hard in this particular case is because, to be honest with you, I'm pretty burnt out on making trap stuff. I've done a lot of it. It's no secret. I've done a lot of this Fortnite stuff for the past year and a half. And this was just like, it was hard. Like you said, I was kind of drawing blanks on how to make something new, how to make it fresh. And I couldn't do it. So I made that song on Friday morning, and I made the video on Friday night, which is very rare. I don't usually rush or make projects that quickly. It was very, very particular, and mostly because of the move, because I didn't even get to really sit down in the studio until Wednesday.
And even then, you were trying to play the game to understand what the heck you're going to be writing about.
Yep.
So
yeah,
it's
crazy.
It was just bad timing for that game to or for you to be able to play, get the beta key or whatever.
Yeah, I got it super late. Yeah. Yep. And I think you said it better than I did, though. With the weekly grind is crazy, because not only do you draw blank sometimes, or you have to pull inspiration from elsewhere, but like there's the danger of not wanting to do the same thing over and over again.
Definitely.
And that's what I struggle with. You know what I mean? It's hard to make things fresh when you do it so frequently. And I can't really think of many other artists in the music industry that create this way. There are times where I think it's very unhealthy and not the way that music's meant to be created. And it kind of feels weird, but I also love it.
Yeah. It's very bittersweet, because to me, and I know for you and for anyone that does what we do, if you gave us a month to write a song, like, you think our songs are good, and that's incredible, and we think our songs are good too, but we know our songs could be great if we were able to give it the time and love and energy that we want to give it, be it with writing, lyrics, mixing, and even the video, like making a video that's just incredible. And for anyone that's maybe thinking, well, why don't you just do that then? Because sadly, that's not how it works on YouTube. You have to be consistent, and you have to be uploading consistently. And I think trying to make a career, if that is your goal, on YouTube doing music, unless you have songs just take off because the YouTube gods blessed you, you have to keep putting out content just constantly, and that's the only way that you can grow. But the sweet part is, I do love it. There is a part of me now where I can't stop writing music.
Yeah.
So there's two sides to it. Like, it's not like every week when I have to write a new song, I'm like, oh man, I have to write another song. It's not the case, because I love what I do so much. But sometimes having that expectation for yourself to make something that is better than the last thing, because that's always, as a creative, your goal. You're trying to beat yourself every time. That sounds weird. Beat yourself over the head. But you're trying to always like one up yourself and try and do something better than the last time. And there are sometimes those weeks, like, okay, I'll be completely transparent too. I didn't think my Endeavor song was that good. I was kind of disappointed with how it ended up mix-wise, and I just didn't feel like it was my best work.
Damn, I love that song. Like, genuinely.
Thank you. And this is what I was telling Leanna about that. I was saying how I don't usually get this on songs. Like, I'll get comments that are like, oh, I love this song so much, but I was getting more than normal comments saying, this is your best song. And I couldn't see it. And then when I listened to it again, I realized a lot of it does come from, fortunately, because we always have a visual aid with our music. And that's generally how it lends to the song.
Yeah.
Like it amplifies the song. And I think with the song and the video, it just created like this energy and captured something that I was trying to capture that I thought I didn't capture, but apparently I did, because I had this just really, really great response. But up until that happened, I was thinking that I kind of dropped the ball on that song, and even though people responded to it well and they like it, it doesn't take away like those hours and hours of me sitting here thinking like, oh my gosh, should I scrap this? Should I start over? Like,
you almost scrapped the other song. You almost scrapped Believe It. And that's literally probably, I don't know. I don't want to say it's my favorite song you've made, but it is at the same time. Like, I think there's a lot of elements of that song that are my favorite, but then I don't know. Yeah, I actually, yeah, that's my favorite song you've made. And you were literally going to scrap that song when I talked to you about it early on in the week.
Yeah, and it's funny actually, because I said like 5 minutes ago how I don't usually write stuff and then scrap it. And it's true. I really don't. And now that I'm actually talking about it, I'm realizing my last two songs, I came close to scrapping them. Oh my God. But the difference though with that song was that I felt like it had a lot of strong points and some weak points that I was trying to understand and work on.
Yeah.
And I gave it enough time, and I had enough time to work on it to where it came out to something I was really proud of. But there were moments, because I was thinking to myself, I feel like I'm not 100% there. Is it worth to keep going? Could I not capture it in a different way?
Yeah.
But it all worked out really well in the end, and that's always great. But yeah, I think it is like going back to what we were just saying about how it's like not a lot of people do this.
No, yeah. It's niche.
Trying to do this every week. It's brutal. Like, and no artist would want to do this voluntarily, but we got the bug though, like we did it enough to where now it's like, I told Leanna, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to upload this week. I kind of want to just chill.
Yeah.
Like 3 hours later, I'm starting to write something. It's just, you know what I mean? Like you just can't control it. That's how it happens.
It's so exciting. Like, I'm going to try and kind of like break it down, because maybe people can relate to this, or maybe they won't. But my creative process kind of goes like this usually. I start with this idea and I'm really excited. I'm unbelievably excited. And I start to make it. And sometimes, this is for me, this is the part that's probably exclusive. I don't know. Maybe there are other people out there, but I build the chorus first. That's how I work. So I make the instrumental for the chorus, and then I usually will sing it. At least on the songs that I end up keeping, that's how it works. I sing like a scratch track that's not that, it's just mumbled words, this. And then I decide, like, because for me, the chorus of the song is always like the core. It's what I build around. It's kind of like the fucking the subject matter for the song, and then everything else gets built around it. But sometimes it'll just click, and I automatically have something. I'll be like, this is it. This is gonna be it. I'm so excited. Other times I'll kind of like it, I'll kind of like it. So I start off super excited, and then I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And then like it's like it's kind of cool. And then I'll go a couple more steps, and then I'll start to record more, and then I'll realize, okay, I don't like this. That's where I scrap. In my process, that's where I scrap. If I don't, though, usually, even if I really like the song, I'll go forward, and at some point with the song, I'm going to get really frustrated, because something either with the mix or with my initial vision isn't exactly lining up the way I thought, which oftentimes I find is a good thing, because then it pushes you to do different things. And when I hear it back a week after I've made it, like you with your Endeavor song, probably you're like, wait a minute, there's a lot about this song that I like. And when you're in the moment, though, it's just like you get so caught up in, this isn't exactly the way I saw it. Sometimes.
I can't tell you how many times I've written a song and I listen back to it and I'm like, wow, that is a good song.
Yeah.
And it's because you're so you're magnifying on so many specific little things. And that's what happened, to be more specific, with Believe It. I was so focused on little parts of it that I wasn't sure about until I listened to the grand scope of like what I made, and I was like, oh, okay. But that is definitely your process, and I can't tell people how many times you have shown me something and I'm like, dude, that's fucking sick. Like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, we're always extremely honest with each other because we both value any sort of criticism that we can get at how something could be better.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, you like it? Yeah. Maybe I'll use it. and then you make something else that's even better. And that's always how it happens. But it's yeah, I think for you, your vision is usually not one to be messed with. Like, you have an idea, or that there is an idea that you just haven't found yet, and you need to find it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really admirable, though, because despite we're all it's subjective, because for me, I would argue that I don't think my stuff's always bangers, but you may say they are.
Oh, dude!
But I think your stuff is always bangers. So like.
I'm like so I'm like so flustered and stumbly, and you're like so much more concise than me in the creative process. I'm a horrible person to work with. For anybody who's worked with me, they can probably say that. I mean, I'm sporadic. Like, my creative energy comes at certain moments. I'm inconsistent. There's so much about my creative process that's bad, which I tell people. I'll literally warn people now. It's like, we could be like 3 days into this collab, and I'm not gonna want to release it, and I'm sorry. Like, and it has nothing to do with you. It like literally is because it's not what I wanted. And that might sound like super diva-esque and super whatever, but it messes with my head for sure. And that's what, I mean, better than anybody, which is why sometimes even when we're talking about collabing, I'm like, I don't know if this is the week, because like I'm already in a weird place mentally, and like I'll be all over the place with it. But so when I do end up getting a song completed, it's like such a breath of fresh air. It's like finally I can breathe again, because I get so stressed and hyper focused on what I want the song to become and stuff. It's really weird. But I know you get the same way, and sometimes in particular, especially recently with some of these songs, like Believe It, where you're hyper focusing on things. But like I think that generally, I don't know if it's exactly healthy the way I create. I don't know how many other people create the way that I do, but it really, that's why I switched to bi-weekly for myself, because you've seen what nobody else sees, which is just the struggle to stay fresh, stay motivated, stay, just good in the head.
I think if just to make a kind of a bold statement, but I think your kind of creative process doesn't really belong in this, because you like to, the way that your brain works and how it processes and how you write and how you mix and all these things, you take your time and like you really like polish it to the very tip, and you're really concise with stuff. And I know you're like me. Like, how many times have you had to release something where you're like, this mix is definitely not where it needs to
be? Dude, it hurts. Funny story, actually. There was a time where I actually got mad at Alex. None of the listeners know, because we were at a shoot in JT. We were in Wilmington, North Carolina, shooting a video with JT Music. And Alex started playing one of my older songs that I don't like. And this is how personal I take my own music. Because I hate some of my old music. Like, it's to the point where people bring it up, and it actually kind of like, and it's not healthy. And I recognize this. So I don't like lash out at people for this. But a lot of times people will play me old songs that I didn't really necessarily mesh with of mine. And it'll actually make me uncomfortable and angry. And that actually happened when we were in North Carolina. I remember I told you, I was like, don't play that song. And you were like, whoa. And I was like, I was kind of an asshole, and I'm sorry. But Yeah,
dude,
dude,
dude, okay.
bad.
Full disclaimer. I think maybe in our entire friendship, there has been maybe 2 times that you've actually ever been like frustrated or upset with me, and vice versa. I can't really think of any time really
Yeah.
that I've ever been. But I think that's why in that moment I had no idea. I think I know you pretty well, but I had no idea that you would react like that. But I played one of your older songs because I like it. I remember I played it because I liked it. And I think with the combination of just all the stress that day with the shoot and just everything, not being in our healthiest mindset with just like barely any sleep, trying to do something we've never done before with the film crew and all this stuff. And I started playing that song. And yeah, dude, I remember I was so concerned because I was like, oh my God, like what did I do?
Dude, it wasn't like even that serious. It really wasn't. But
but yeah, right. But I think that's why it threw me so much, because I was like, uh-oh, like what did I didn't even, it totally caught me off guard because we never have issues like that. So I was thinking earlier too, like that kind of may explain a lot of your process too, because back then you didn't really have the standards that you have now, which I think is normal in anything that we do. You have higher standards the better you get at anything. But
yeah,
you hate that stuff so much. Maybe that is like it's subconsciously why you hyper focus to make it sound as best as you possibly can. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I'm constantly hating it. You know what I mean? It's like a cycle. Like I go back and listen to my work from a year ago, especially back then. 2018, 2017 were like trial runs for me. 2016 was a joke. I mean, I was literally doing this because I thought it might be kind of funny. Like it started, and then 2017 started to take it more serious. Started to learn how to produce. But 2007, I mean, people don't know. I literally didn't. For me, I didn't produce until 2017, and even then, it was very basic shit. So like, it was all trial runs for me, and it still feels like that even today when I'm making songs. I'm like, this isn't my best work, and when I look back at even a couple weeks ago at my songs I create, it's the unhealthy part is that all I see is the mix that isn't perfect. It's the production that sounds amateur. It's the vocal top lining work that I did that wasn't industry, all this shit, and it just drives me fucking nuts. So I hardly ever do like my work, which is really it's a problem. But now that's probably, hopefully most of you can't relate to that. I would hope, but that's just kind of that's kind of why that happened, and so it's personal sometimes.
Yeah. I think for me, I used to feel like that a lot of my old songs. There's certain songs of mine where I'm like, what was I thinking? This is terrible. And I think fortunately for me, it took like almost 2 years for it to click for me as a songwriter and everything. And I think it's the same for you. I think the advantage I had was that I was already writing and recording before I was doing YouTube. You started doing YouTube where you just started rapping.
Oh yeah.
You didn't know anything about mixing. You didn't know anything about mics. You didn't know anything about anything. And so your entire growth is online, And so, yeah, I could see why now you've reached this point of success and all of these great things that you can look at in terms of like production and videos and thumbnails and all the things that go into YouTube. And then you look back at that stuff and you're like, the fuck?
Dude, what the fuck was Fortnite, let's go? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Are you fucking with me, dude? 100 million views? I live with that. Oh, man. Anyways, but the creative process has been insane. I mean, I appreciate everybody that loves my music more than words, and anybody who listens to it and enjoys it. And I would never be angry at them for liking the music that I get frustrated with ever. Like I don't want to scare any fans from being like, I like this song. It really doesn't bother me like that. But like, it's been a process, and that's the grind though is addicting. You know how you're saying like you want to take a break and then you're like,
you can't
because it's like every week for me and you, especially for the like the improvement factor. Like we're always trying to push each other to make better moves, to make a better mix, to make a better song, and just write better hooks, write better this, write better that. And I think that's the addiction. It's like for I mean we're like best buds, but then we're also like it's like in an anime when like the two characters like best friends, but they're trying to constantly shit on each other. Like I feel like that's kind of a relationship we have, but like it's perfect because for me I thrive not shit on each other, but push each other to be better.
I just want to know what anime character I would be.
Dude, that's a good question.
Wait, hold on. Because I feel like if there's between two rivals, there's always one that's shittier than the other. So like if I was going to say that I'm Sasuke, then you would be Naruto. You're like, I don't want to be Naruto.
I don't want to be Naruto. I probably am Naruto. I mean, I started rapping and scrapping and doing all sorts of weird shit. I mean, I'd say you're probably Sasuke. I'm probably Naruto. I'm like, believe it. I'm gonna make the best song ever this week. Believe it.
Oh my god.
Goat under the tree.
That's amazing. Goat under the tree. By the way, anyone listening that I don't know who it was that put that on Twitter and also commented that, I think on YouTube, but I died. I thought that was so funny.
I saw another one yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of lost train of thought there for a second because I was thinking about goats under trees. You were talking. Wait, what were you just talking about?
Anime characters pushing each other to be better, friendly.
Pushing each other.
Yeah, pushing each other.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. I think that is one of the best things that honestly for me it's like the best thing that's come out of doing this, and especially having Nick by my side doing it, is being able to first of all discover a craft that I have such a huge passion for. I mean, as much as I like writing songs, at the end of the day, like producing and mixing are just my all-time passion. Like I just love it so much. And fortunately, Nick's the same way. And we are constantly, before this freaking call, I was talking to you about drum rooms and how I was controlling. Anyways, we get into this stuff so much. And it's stuff that no person that's commenting or supporting us gives a shit about. They don't care about how my drum room sounds.
Dude, they really don't, but I do.
Right? Thank you. But yeah, I think it's such a going back to saying bittersweet. I've tried taking breaks, and there's just like there's this little bug, dude, in my head. I can't do it. I'm constantly thinking of ideas without trying to. Is that a word? Is that a sentence? I feel like I sound like an idiot.
It made sense.
It made sense? Okay,
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I can't stop thinking of ideas. And so I think that's also what's frustrating, is that even though I'm constantly thinking, and when I hit those moments of where I can't think of anything, I hate those. Oh my gosh. I hate those moments so much. And I also then start questioning. This kind of leads into something else, I guess, but I start questioning my my ability, and I start questioning my just everything. I start doubting myself entirely, and I don't know if I touched on this in the last podcast. Maybe I'm kind of blanking right now, but I kind of think I mentioned about the post I had on Twitter. But either way, if I didn't, essentially I had a post on Twitter like 2 weeks ago talking about how dealing with like the doubt and like not thinking I'm like the best singer. I'm not thinking I'm the best at mixing, or, you know, and I don't need to be the best, but just thinking that I'm so below everyone else.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a really, really bad problem with that. Sometimes I get super self-conscious about like how my stuff is. And so that's what makes the creative process even harder, is that if you hit a wall and then you start looking at everyone else's content, or you start listening to bands you love, and you're just like, God, I'm shit. I can't do any of this.
That's the word, dude.
You know?
I feel like comparing your work to other people's work is the worst idea you can do in music. It's the worst, and like everybody knows it, but we all do it. I do it all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like I'll start finally getting to a point where I start to be confident. So, like I've never been a great singer. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm an amazing singer. For the people listening, they're like, too much fucking auto-tune. Like I know. All right. Anyways, so like I'll start to listen to like other singers, and I'm like, man, like I suck. And then it's like right when I'm feeling confident, I'll start to go listen and compare because I'm like, oh man, I feel like this song's pretty good. Maybe I should go listen to this. And then I listen to this and I'm like,
Mm.
oh man, I suck. And then the week-long spiral downwards happens mentally, and I totally understand where you're coming from with your post on Twitter because I get it. I mean, I would think that most of us are there. I don't meet very many artists that aren't vulnerable, that are and that aren't like that
Open
don't
about
deal with
that?
that. Yeah, because most people I
Yeah.
do meet struggle with that. I mean, it's very rare that I meet somebody that's like, you know, I'm just great. It's like,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had that backwards. Yes. No,
yeah,
I think pretty much any artist can understand that, and especially if you're trying to reach some sort of level of success and it's maybe not happening as quickly as you want it to, you can really start, just doubting everything that you're doing. And I hate those moments, but like I said on my Twitter post, I feel like I've made really good moves forward where I'm just mentally not letting myself get into that spiral. Like I'm actually forcing myself to not do certain things
yeah,
I know that will upset me, like especially when it comes to like comparing or like listening to other music to make myself upset, It's like
hmm,
you like want to hurt yourself for
oh
some
yeah,
stupid ass reason. So, and it's funny too because then you have the people on the outside like me for you or you for me or fans or whatever other artists where they're like, what are you talking about? Are you dumb?
yeah.
But you never see it though.
Oh no,
I
yeah,
I always wish I had somebody else's voice, and somebody wishes they probably had mine, and whatever.
yeah.
It's just it's part of the fun of doing what we do. I think.
Yeah, it really is. And most of the time, I feel like I'm pretty comfortable, but I get in those moods, and I'm thankful for the moments where I feel confident in myself and happy with where I'm at. Because I clown
Mm,
on myself really for auto tune and stuff for no reason. But truthfully, I do make the music that I want to make. Like at the end of the
yeah.
day, like I'm really happy with most of it. I guess this is, I. Sometimes I do get in those moods, and last week for me, I did and stuff like that. But when you're in the rhythm too, when you're in the flow of it, and when you're really doing it the way you want to do it, and when you're making songs you're proud of, it's the best feeling. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
makes all the shitty weeks so worth it because there's no better feeling I've ever felt in my life. I'm serious. I'm trying to think of things like besides like getting married, like major moments in my life that were huge moments for me.
Hmm.
But like making a song that I'm proud of is up there. It's on that same tier list. When I listen back to a song and I'm like, I want to hear that again, I can't explain it. It doesn't make me feel like I'm the shit, but it makes me feel so proud. Like I'm just like,
Yeah.
holy fuck.
You made that.
I
Yeah.
fucking made that and we even say it to each other sometimes when I hear your songs or you hear a song of mine that you like I'll be like, holy shit, Alex. Imagine if I would have told you that 17-year-old you from or 16-year-old you from woodshop class, whatever it was, that you what if I would have shown you this? You know what I mean? You would have been like, there's
Oh
no way
yeah.
I ever would have made that. So there's the
Yeah.
best moments too that make everything worth it. Absolutely,
A
and the
hundred
people
percent.
that listen too, they do too.
Yeah. Definitely. And yeah, I think with what I was saying before, that doesn't actually happen to me that much, but and I'm really fortunate that like I'm not so self-conscious that like every other week I'm like I'm the worst, no one likes me. It's nothing like that.
Yeah,
It's just it's going back on that weekly grind sometimes that you'll hit a wall. But I think what you said is true though, where I'll write something where I'm like really really proud of it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is, I can't believe I wrote that."
yeah,
Like, and the ones that I love too are I'll write a song. We kind of said this earlier, but I'll write a song. I'll think it's good, and then I'll listen to it like a month later, and I'm like, "Damn, that was a good song." Like I didn't recognize. Like
yeah,
I was listening to my song I made for Death Note. I think that's probably one of the best songs I've ever made,
yeah,
and I didn't realize it at the time. And because I gave it enough time to sit on it and listen back to it, I'm like, because I was saying that Kirishima was my best song,
yeah,
and I think that is a good song, but yeah, dude, it's just interesting, like listening back, and I think one of the things that keeps us from being able to see that and understand that, we touched on this already a bit, but and also full disclaimer once again, not a pity party at all. This is just kind of our mindset
yeah,
because I don't want anyone being like, "What are you guys talking about?" It's nothing like that. I don't want anyone having to give me some sort of reassurance, but or feel bad. But all I'm going to say is, with what we do, more specifically you and me, because I'm not going to speak for other people because they have other people that help them or they do it themselves. I don't know who does what. So just talking about you and me,
Yeah.
because we write, we sing, we mix, we master, we make the video, we
Yeah.
like are in charge of everything. Doing that every week, it is so brutal, and I don't even realize it anymore because it's just what I do. I'm
Yeah.
sure you're the same way. It's like it's just life, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that contributes heavily to a lot of the issues we have because we're just there's so much to what we do. People don't even know how many times. Okay, how many times have you had a song that is great and you're trying to get your fucking snare to sound
Oh
the
my
way you want it to?
God. Yeah, dude. Oh man.
No one would give a shit. No one cares if there's like -3 added on something or like like whatever. Like no one's gonna care. But we care so much about how
Yep.
everything sounds. It's
Yep.
so brutal. Dude.
And it's every part of the process. It's a lot of work. I get what you're saying. You don't want to have a pity party, but people, like, no offense to any other kind of artists that aren't doing it the way we do it. First off, because I think that whatever you're doing, if you're creating artwork, I respect the shit out of it most of the time, unless you're talking about, I don't know,
yeah, terrible
white
things.
supremacy and whatever the fuck else that I would judge you for. But like
right.
if you're making art and you're legitimately a part of the puzzle, in any way, I respect it. But we are literally doing what I never thought would be possible. Personally, I just didn't. From the ground up, from the production to the mix, to the song, to the top lining, to the recording, to the mixing, the mastering, distributing even, and the videos, we're doing every part of it, which most artists are not doing. And it is worth noting because I'm sure me or you aren't trying to sit here being like, we're doing all this and you should respect that. It's like,
no, not at all.
I'm saying it because it takes a toll sometimes mentally on the creative process. It takes a toll on everything, on life in general. Like for me personally, the creative process is so a part of my life that I have a genuinely hard time doing other things. Like I legitimately will go out and do something like, everybody's just relaxing, enjoying themselves, and I'm thinking about an EQ that I could use or a compressor that I want to get. Like it just doesn't stop. I'm obsessed. So like,
yeah,
I mean, it's tough in a lot of ways that people won't understand. There's a million benefits to it. I love working from home. I love making money online the way we do. I love making music. I love all the other parts. But, I worked a lot of jobs and none of them took the amount of time or energy that we're putting into this. So no doubt that, we focus on every aspect. We spend our time and it's good in so many ways and bad in others. And I'm just excited to see where it takes us eventually. Cause obviously, this is, I'm not going to say it's temporary because I want to do this as long as I can. If that means 10 more years of doing Fable, I will do it. Like I love doing it, but I don't know. It's just the more that I make music and I know the more that you make music and the more it evolves, the more everything changes. And it's probably the coolest thing to experience. Like it's the coolest thing. I was talking so much about how much I hated my music before, my old music, but there are moments where I look at it and I love how far I've come. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. There's silver linings to pretty much everything if you look for them. And I think for me, looking back at everything I've made, like I feel like I haven't been writing good music until like September of last year. Like in the last, like, what would that be? Like 7 months. I feel like I've been writing more consistently writing good songs.
Hell yeah.
And I look back at all those other things now as like holy shit. Like I don't like a lot of the songs I was writing, but wow, I've come a long way. So yeah, it's like it's one way to look at it for sure. Where it's like, holy crap! Like I'm honestly sometimes, I don't know if you're like this, I'm impressed that I was able to even make stuff sound as good as it did back then.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I had so much less knowledge on what I was doing. But yeah, and where it'll take us, that is you'd never know, man. Like a year from now, what is going to happen?
I don't know.
Like,
see, that's what I don't actually know. I know that no matter what, I know that this is kind of beyond creative process, but creative journey, I would say. No matter what, I'm going to be making music, and I will do Fable, but I would love to work in the industry, mixing, mastering, producing for other artists some days or someday, and then have Fable be a thing that I slow down on, maybe, you know, one video a month or something like that. Like I've always had dreams of doing other stuff, and I know for you personally, I mean, we started out doing this in a rock band. Like we've clearly since the dawn of time wanted to do something in the music industry, and I think this is just right now. This is currently where we're at.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have, like I was saying earlier, my biggest passion is definitely within mixing and producing. And who knows? Maybe YouTube is the thing that takes me to this dream thing that I never thought would be possible, because I was able to build a catalog and build an audience of people that enjoy what I do. And you just don't know. Or I'll be doing this for 10 years. And I think what the best part about that, I'll be happy regardless.
Yep. Exactly.
Either way it goes, I will be happy, because it means I get to do what I love. Like, you know, doesn't matter what medium it's in. It's like it's still more or less going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the fact I can actually do this pretty much full time now, it's insane. It's absolutely crazy.
That's so
I was
cool.
talking to random what's the word I'm thinking of when you shout someone out?
Shout out.
Okay. It's not a shout out. It's like random. Oh, name drop. Name drop. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Random name drop. The other day, Cam from Video Game Rap Battles was live streaming on Instagram, and I just went in there, and I didn't even say anything, but it tells the person if someone jumps in.
Yeah.
It'll show like my name. He's like, "Oh, hey, Divide's in here," and he's like, "Do you want to live chat?" And I was like, "Sure." So we were live chatting, and that was one of the first things he actually asked me, because he was talking to me about England and stuff. And he's like, "So are you full time?" Or I said, "Yeah." And it was so cool, dude. He was so happy for me. He's like, "Holy crap, dude. That's incredible. You've only been doing it for like just over 2 years." And I'm like, man, all that stuff from earlier in the podcast, we talked about all the shit. It's things like this that make it, you know, the good always outweighs the bad, obviously. And it was in that moment, I think I was like, yeah, I am. Like, this is crazy,
dude.
And I did it, you know.
Oh, you did it all from the ground up. That's what dude. It's so cool. Yeah, this is the greatest experience by far all around. I mean, if you guys are listening and you guys are thinking, maybe you're looking for info on, you know, how can I better my creative process, but you're probably discovering that we're no different than you, hopefully, by the end of this podcast, but
maybe worse.
But like generally, no matter how you feel about your own shit, just keep doing it, because your song that you make tomorrow might not be the thing that blows you up, but it doesn't matter, because the song that you make 7 months from now, after you've been dropping a song you have to make a lot of songs. You do. Like, I'm still, like you said, I'm getting a lot more happy with my product the last year or so, but still, next year I'm going to look back and think it sucks, and every week I'm learning more. So like, just keep making music, because not to turn this into some cheesy inspirational shit from Instagram or something, but like, seriously, like it's fucking true. Like, if you keep making music every single week, I don't give a shit what other people tell you, like, oh, you need to take your time, you need to do this, you need to do that. There are plenty of ways to create that are valid. I'm not trying to take away from those people, but if you just keep making music, you're going to get better.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but I think from our experience, it took me writing probably 70 songs before I felt like I was starting to get really happy with what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was telling this to Steph the other day. Sailor Your Love, for anyone that's listening. Doesn't know her name. I was talking to her about this, though, because she was like, I wrote this song and I think it's really, really good. And we started talking about songwriting, and I was telling her, you think it's good now, but 3 months from now, you're going to think it's the worst shit you've ever made. And and you're going to think what you're working on then is so good. And I said, that's kind of the best part about it, is you don't realize how much you're improving until you have something to look back on. And I think going back with what we were saying earlier, that's what's so great about looking back at our songs, even though we're not proud of them. Well, not to say we're not proud of them, but it's not something that we look at that we're thinking like, oh my gosh, this is great. It's still, it's like just a really, really good reminder. And it's funny because she just released, I think, her third song And she was like, oh my gosh, the song is so much better than the first one I did. I totally know what you mean. And in my head, I'm like, just wait, 10 more songs from now.
Yep, it'll humble you real quick. It will, because you'll realize that, just it's not that the song was bad. It's just that you're evolving, and that's what there is to it. And maybe not for artists that like aren't doing everything. Like some artists, maybe I think it could be different for, like, let's say you're like a vocalist and you like make a song and you hire a mix engineer and a different master engineer, and this project gets ran through a co-producer, and it gets ran through a bunch of great people. Then you're going to find yourself having moments where you're really proud of music that's old, but probably because other people that you may have gelled with or meshed with or had the same vision as you worked on the project. But if you are in sole control of your projects, if you are the person that is making all the sounds in that fucking song, you are going to evolve. 100%. You know what I mean? And so, just to clarify, because I know some artists do this differently, and I understand that. I totally get that. But if you are in control of everything, you are going to evolve and get better, and just, it's the more songs you make, you're going to feel great. And you're going to feel bad, and it's going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And just like the numbers on YouTube and everything else that, is a part of everything we do. But at some point, you're going to come to the place where you're just so happy that you get to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we have one thing to always remember if you ever get down on yourself for songwriting or whatever. Just think about all the famous artists and producers that you love. You know how many shitty songs they probably wrote before they actually started writing hits?
True.
People have like a natural talent for writing, sure, but they're never happy with it at first. It takes a lot of time. So that's been one of the things that I feel like I recognize a lot more now. Like when I listen to a song, I actually can hear things in ways that could improve it, of like my stuff or whatever. And it's stuff that I would never think of before, like layering certain things, creating an atmosphere, and doing all these things. It's like all the stuff that can really suck someone into a song. I feel like I'm so much better at now than I ever was. And like same for you too. It's all the little tricks. Like if you're mixing, it's learning what kind of tools that are best used to create certain things. And you may want to have, like, let's say you're rapping, and then you want to have, like, okay, your recent Valorant song, you had like that little part in, I don't know if it was the hook or in a verse, where you had like the radio vocal.
Yeah.
Someone's like making a song and they want to do that, and they don't know how to do it. And then you learn, and then all of a sudden you're finding that you're reaching for those kind of tools later and writing songs that include those elements that you've gotten better with from learning and just getting better. And it's like, oh, if I would have done that on a song back in the day, it could have been really cool if I did, so it's just like anything. It just takes time. And like Nick said, definitely not supposed to be like an inspirational speech at the end. But I just know for us, like, we're just firsthand. I mean,
oh yeah,
brutal. We're very critical of ourselves, like most people would be doing anything creative. And but it's the best scenario, because fortunately, me and Nick have the same goals, trying to be the best at what we do and being anime rivals, I guess. But like in the most encouraging, positive way.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely incredible. And yeah. And anyways, so it's one of the things that makes doing this so much fun, is being able to have someone to bounce ideas. And I guess if anyone's listening and you're starting and you want to do this, or definitely connect with people, like-minded people. Because I know for me, connecting with you on songs, and it always gets me so much better, so much quicker.
Absolutely. Like, dude, I couldn't agree more. That is the best advice ever. For those people listening, seriously, listen to what Alex just said. Find somebody that's like-minded, and just, like, it's not about trying to outdo somebody because you want to outdo them. It's about trying to get better. Like, I know this is silly, but once again, in the anime stuff, every time I'm watching an anime, which is I like them, and like, let's just say Naruto and Sasuke, and Naruto and Sasuke, like, they like each other in Naruto, at least for a moment, but then for a moment, but then like when Naruto sees Sasuke do some shit, and he's like, I could never fucking do that. What is that? That is amazing. I want to learn that. It's like, it's not a bad thing. It's not something you look at and you envy. It's something that pushes you to do better. And I think it's a competitive nature, kind of. So maybe some people can't relate to this, but I just think that when you see your friends and your circle and your community of people around you doing great things, for me at least, it makes me want to do great things or even greater than I'm
Mhm.
doing. And I think that if you don't have that, you can get complacent and you can get really comfortable where you're at, and you can get really and it's never going to be about being better than your peers. It's just about getting pushed by amazing people that are talented to be better.
Yeah.
I think that's so important. No doubt.
100%. Yeah. I think a lot of, especially when it comes to melody structure with vocals and stuff like that. I always like to give you a big nod for that, because you were the one that pushed me to do that, and there are things I'm sure I've helped with you along the way. But I know that with everything, it's so great to have someone around, and we're so fucking lucky to have each other to push each other in the same things that we want to learn,
Oh yeah.
like songwriting and mixing. Like those are the two biggest things that we love, and so we're constantly trying to push each other to do better. And
Oh, all the
yeah,
nods.
anyways.
All the nods, dude. I always tell people, like at MPC, people are like, dude, I love your production. I'm like, thanks. I learned everything I know from Alex. Thank you. So like I seriously, I was having a talk with my wife the other day, Tiffany, about that. I was like, man, like, I don't know if I could create the way I do without Alex, because he, like, you know, you definitely obviously teach me things and push me to do better, and maybe that's awesome that I could do the same for you, but it wouldn't be the same. I always think about that. I'm like, where would I be, without somebody who is like-minded
to bounce off of.
Yeah.
And like
Seriously,
yeah. No,
like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
it would be very, very different.
Yep.
I think one of the coolest things is being able to show you something, or vice versa, and then have an idea
Yeah.
that helps you out or me, and it makes the song that much better, and you're like, oh my gosh. And I know that happens with us. And I feel like there was something not that long ago. I can't remember now. It was like you wrote a chorus.
Yeah.
No, was it like you wrote a chorus and I said that would be a really good bridge, or like a verse, and I said that. Oh, it was the verses. I told you to.
Dude,
Yeah.
Yeah, you flipped my song around in the best way. I sent you a song, and you were like, it was a first verse, and you were like, that's really cool, but it sounds like a second verse. And I was like,
It just, like,
Wait
I
a
remember in that
minute.
moment, because you were so, like I was
Yeah.
saying with how we work, you get so focused on something that you're not maybe looking at the big picture, and that's why it's so great to bounce stuff off somebody else. And so when you showed it to me, I was like, this is so good, but the energy is too high for the beginning of the song, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
And then once you flipped it, I remember, your reaction was so funny, because then you were like, what the hell?
Yep. There was another time with a hook you were doing where it was like you were doing an ad lib on your chorus, and I remember you were like, you weren't saying anything though. You were like, whoa, or something. You were like saying like whoa, and I was like, you should say like go, because you were like I don't remember what song was this. It was like changing an ad lib to a word, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
do you remember what I'm talking
What
about?
was that?
It may not have been that drastic in the end of everything, especially not as drastic as moving a verse. But I remember I was like, you were writing a song, and I was like, dude, this is amazing. But I can just hear you using that ad lib for something more. And you were like, wait a minute, that's fucking brilliant.
I can't. I know. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, what was it?
I don't remember.
That is going to really bother me now.
But it turned out great either way. I mean, obviously, like you said, I think when we get in the middle of all this, the big picture is harder to see, because you get so fucking focused on the little things, like mixed things and just
Yeah.
just
Oh,
everything.
100%. Dude, sorry, like that's going to bother me now, because I'm like looking at my Spotify trying to remember what song it was, but I know what you're talking about. And I remember in that moment, my mind was blown. I was like, how did I not even think of that? It was something as simple as saying go instead of oh, and it worked with my lyrics. It made more sense, and I can't remember now. But anyways, yeah. So it's always really nice that in even if it's not writing music, with whatever you do, if it's art or like drawing or painting or fucking, I don't know, planting flowers, it's always good to have someone there to
Underwater
bounce.
basket weaving, whatever the hell you're doing.
Underwater basket. That's an actual thing. It probably is. It sounds real.
It is. It's real. People do it. They
Is it
weave
real?
baskets underwater in the ocean.
Oh my god, I could understand in my sink, but in the ocean though.
In your
It's like in a dual vanity bathroom. You just have a basket in each sink.
Hey, what's up, dude? What are you
What's
doing?
up, dude?
Oh, just
Weaving.
weaving.
Dude, me too. Yeah, then you push yourself to weave the best possible basket. And anyways, I guess this kind of ties up everything that we're talking about. The creative process is a tricky thing for anybody, and I can confidently say for everyone in the nerdcore community that's writing a song every week or every other week, or it's not even that, having a schedule set,
Oh yeah.
like having timelines that you need to meet, it makes the creative process very difficult. And I'm sure everyone in our community can relate to that in some way. But anyways, and I think, yeah, it just, with what happened to you last week, I was like, that's such a great podcast topic, because I bet, a lot of people just see the product. They don't get to really see what happens and what we're going through.
Yeah.
And fortunately, Nick and I are the ones that are constantly like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Like, this is the worst thing I've ever made.
Yep.
And, but yeah, unless you have anything else to say, I guess we can,
Yeah, just make
Time
sure
it up.
if you're under that tree, if you're a goat and you're chilling under that tree, don't be afraid to wander out of it.
dude,
Just get some
Yeah.
sun.
dude, especially if you're not a goat, like maybe think about becoming one and then
Yeah.
venture out.
Yeah. Fuck birds.
Fuck.
Nobody's
Oh,
gonna understand
no.
that, but I do.
No one's going to know
That's an
that.
inside joke that maybe someday we'll tell. Maybe.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, now I kind of want to tell it because it's so stupid. Okay, really quick. I'll make this really short. And besides, if anyone's this far into the podcast,
Yeah.
they're homies.
Yeah, that's right.
So back when Nick started his channel, I started. I think was I called Divide?
you
think I
were
was
you,
called
you were
Divide.
Divide. Yeah. Yep.
I was Divide. Yeah.
Yep.
I started a channel, the same one I have now. It was called Divide, and Nick was making songs for like Pokemon Go at the time. That's like primarily what you were doing.
Yeah.
And I was making the weirdest content. Like they're just so strange. It was in the Leafy is Here like era where everything was like
Oh,
commentary. I had like a couple commentary videos and it was just so cringy. But I had this like series that I made. I made 2 videos.
yeah. They were fucking good. They were good, dude. I'm serious. I would have watched a movie, dude.
Oh my gosh. Okay, when I explain this, you're gonna think to yourself, "The hell?" It's just very, very out there. It's my kind of humor. It's just very strange. But I essentially had a skit where this crab, it was a PNG image of a crab that I put glasses on and a top hat, and I think the first episode he was out. Oh yeah, he was on the sidewalk.
Yeah, dude.
And it was
He's
raining.
so lonely.
He was all alone, and,
Yep.
and I narrated this. I was narrating. I was like talking as if I was thinking, or if I was the crab's thoughts or whatever. And so it's raining, and then like he pulls out an umbrella, and then it has a hole in the umbrella, and then he sees birds fly over, and then later the same birds drive up in a car and roll the window down.
Splash water on him the first time, right? Didn't they?
Now I can't remember. I think they flew over.
Oh, that's right.
And then later I had a car come up.
Yep.
And then he's like, "Oh, maybe these guys are gonna give me a ride." And then they rolls out the window, and I can't remember what I said, but at the very end of the episode, I just say, "Fuck those birds!"
Yeah. Fuck those
Like
birds.
they just ruined everything. And then I had a second one where I went to a red box and got Pitch Perfect 3 or something, as like the crab did, and then the birds came back. It was just so bizarre.
It was great
and,
though. It was good.
Oh my gosh,
Dude.
Anyways,
Yeah, not to-
fuck those birds.
Seriously, there's a bird that literally chirps at 3 a.m. right now, where I live, and this new house that I'm at, and I'm unhappy with birds.
I'm very not okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just said seriously, and your phone went off.
I know.
Is it-
Siri just heard me. The government's listening.
Dude, mine does that all the time. I'll be like in a really serious conversation. Nope, didn't work. Dang it. It doesn't work when I want it to. But anyways. All right, guys. thank you for sticking around if you're still here at the end of the episode. Hope that was somewhat enjoyable and kind of, open a door a little bit into what we do. And yeah, I guess that's it from us. And I don't know when this is coming out. I guess we'll just
Probably
post
Friday,
it.
right? Maybe not.
Friday? Yeah, we can do Friday.
I don't know.
I wasn't really sure if we have a.
We need to get a guest on here. Oh, I just had I guess I could say it. I eventually want to get Moxus on here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's agreed.
For anyone that doesn't know, because I know that most of the people here probably don't know who that is, I would imagine, but he's a rapper that isn't in nerdcore. But
yeah, but he's seeing success. So
that'd
he's
be
got a lot
really
of good
cool.
knowledge. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, either way, whenever this comes out, whenever you're listening to it, thank you so much for sticking around to the end, and we'll see you guys next time with a new episode. And fuck COVID.